In today's video, we're exploring the mystifying near-death experiences of Avraham Yosef, Rachel Noam and Nir Bar, three Israeli Jewish individuals who've journeyed into the unknown and returned with a hint revelation of why Israel is under attack. Join us as we navigate through their ethereal encounters and the impactful revelations that followed, challenging our perceptions of life, death, and the possible realms beyond. Let's dive into these captivating stories and unravel the mysteries of the afterlife together. Subscribe to Oracle Odyssey and let's embark on this journey together. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos, and feel free to share your thoughts, experiences and insights in the comments below. The near-death experience of Avraham Yosef, with a hint of the reasons behind the Israel war. I was 25 years old when I died for the first time. I was an electrician, working in an industrial building when I unplugged the drill I was using, slipped and got electrocuted. I screamed and then lost consciousness. My brother, who was working with me, heard me scream and called an ambulance. But by the time they got me to the emergency room, I was dead. At Jerusalem's Shea Zedek Hospital, doctors administered paddles to my chest and attempted to defibrillate my heart, but to no avail. Minutes later, they declared me dead, but suggested to my family that they double the electrical voltage of the defibrillator in an attempt to shock my heart and resuscitate me. I was already dead, they reasoned, and therefore it would do no harm to try. My family agreed, and the voltage was increased to 1,000 watts, a quantity the physicians admitted they had never attempted when administering an electric shock to a patient's heart. My heart began to beat again, albeit faintly, and the relieved doctors reported that I was alive. When I died, my soul went up. There was a room I was standing in, and in front of me was an open door. Everything was white, but not white like the walls. A pure white, a white that we don't have here in this world. The doors in front of me opened, and I saw a spectacular sight. In front of me was a man sitting on a high chair. Two men sat on either side of him, and on either side of me were 6 other men. They looked like regular people, but were wearing pure white, with pure white beards and white hair. They had no wrinkles or blemishes on their faces, and their eyes were glowing, as if there was fire or light emanating from them. They were all beautiful, though I only died for 7 minutes. I experienced a lengthy encounter with what I called the judges of the world to come, who did not identify themselves to me. They did, however, leave me with lasting messages to impart to the Jewish people and its leaders upon my return to this world. They said they invited me because I had Zekat Ovet, which is merits of the fathers, credit from their good deeds, noting that my father had been a great rabbi in Iran, where he built a synagogue for the Jewish community and provided them with a Torah scroll. They told me it can't be that there are people in Israel who are starving. It can't be that the rich continue getting richer and the poor continue getting poorer. I wrote a 17-page document by hand as soon as I remembered the encounter more than 35 years ago. The document comprises a complex list of the major modern transgressions of the Jewish people, including intermarriage of Jews with non-Jews, disrespect among Jews of Jewish tradition and customs, and even cruelty to animals. But most sinful, I reported, was the leadership of the State of Israel. Near-death experience of Rachel Noam. I turned into Bograshov Street. Ahead of me, I had to pass the skeleton of a new building under construction. The sidewalk was torn up, piles of sand covered the area, and there were pieces of wood and other debris scattered about. A short way up the street, a large woman with curly blonde hair approached. Then it happened. Suddenly, I felt a violent blow strike my head. I fell flat on the ground in front of the woman. A heavy 18-foot wooden beam plunging from the scaffold atop the 5-story structure hit me and sailed into the street as if thrown by a catapult. All at once, I felt I was outside my body, floating upward about 12 to 15 feet above the sidewalk, watching the scene below. I did not know how I left my body or how I got up there. Everything happened so suddenly that I was caught completely by surprise. I saw the large woman bending over my body, trying to detect a sign of life in my motionless form. Then she started screaming for help. This is my body, I thought, but I am not inside it. I am looking at it from above. How is this possible? With what eyes am I seeing this, and where are my ears? How could I be hearing all this noise in the street? I was baffled. Obviously, I existed. I was real, I was conscious, but not inside my frame. I always thought that I and my body were identical. I did not know I was a being that was more than just a physical body. A gradual change began to occur in my status of observer. The events in the street began to fade away into darkness, and through this darkness, I perceived a glimmer of brightness. As the radiance came closer, it grew in intensity, becoming a glorious, powerful light, radiating an abundant flow of exalted spirituality. In harmony with this flow of illumination, the events in my life began to pass before my eyes. The images were three-dimensional, and I saw myself taking part in them. My entire life flashed by from the day I was born until the very moment I fell to the ground. The magnificent stream of light was accompanied by a flow of sublime love, the kind of love I had never before experienced. Faced with this overpowering love, I felt incapable of remaining an independent entity. I simply melted away. No words can describe the enchantment, the wonder, the incomparable, infinite goodness. I discerned in it qualities of compassion, spiritual pleasure, strength, happiness, and beauty, all in infinite profusion. I felt a powerful bond with this marvelous presence. This was the will of a higher power, a being of infinite might. I felt a strong pull to become part of this wonderful eternal flow. The pull of the powerful love of the benevolent light was almost irresistible. I felt my willpower crumbling and melting away. Faced by this outpouring of goodness and love, I was losing my will to be a separate individual. It felt as though a loving mother embraced my individuality and pulled my eyes towards a state of perfect happiness, toward an elevated state of being that ensured everlasting sublime delight. I was filled with great compassion for my loved ones who would remain in this world, for my body, for the life I had wasted. A wave of pity swept over me. I felt that this force of compassion brought me back into my body. Overcome with tenderness, with a boundless sense of compassion, I burst into tears. The woman bent over me, and grabbing my hand, she coaxed me to get back on my feet. The near-death experience of Nirbar, it was in the middle of the summer, at noon. I was dining at Inyakov. After eating, I felt extremely exhausted and tight. I told him that I couldn't drive. If he wanted to drive, that was fine. I would rest in the car, and when we reached a stopping point, I would freshen up and take over the driving. I fell into a deep sleep within 2 minutes. I was leaning and asleep when suddenly, I woke up spontaneously, precisely a second before the accident. The accident was abrupt for me. I remember the car plunging into the ditch, and that was it. It happened so fast, in seconds, and at a speed of over 100, it wasn't a situation where you could observe in detail what was happening. In that instant, I saw a black screen, and suddenly it felt like I was watching a movie. But it wasn't a movie you watch on TV. It was sensory, meaning you feel it. I saw myself from childhood growing up, and all the people around me, my brother, parents, and authorities. I saw my entire life movie from infancy to the moment of my death. I saw my death, my consciousness, my girlfriend's face, my wife, my parents' faces, their tears, and their mourning for me. Everything. I felt like I was having a dialogue with God, not judging or conversing with Him, but there was a question, and I sought an answer. I first said the name Israel, and then, after this movie, I said that I was ready, from this moment, to accept myself, to change all the light of my life, all the way I lived, to be better to people, to others, everything. I was ready to do everything just to get out of here now. Thank you for listening to the story. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like and the subscribe button for more Oracle Odyssey. Until we meet again, stay blessed.